Of this year's Munster Hurling semi-finals throw-in at Semple Stadium in just under a half an hour. And with me this afternoon to discuss our live games are Ger Farrell and Donal O'Grady. Gentlemen, very welcome indeed. Ger, we heard Davy Fitz say they're talking about the Clare team, you know, about having a lot of respect for some of these young players coming through in great time for them. And there is that contrast, I suppose, between Clare and Waterford today.
Well, he has a lot of time for them. He knows them very well because he has had a lot of them either playing for him in Fitzgibbon or playing against him in Fitzgibbon. So he has a great knowledge of all those young players. And of course, everybody knows now that Clare won the All-Ireland 21 last year. Some very, very good players on that. Now, one of the best of the young players today is missing, actually, James McInerney. He's injured. He's been playing today. But even behind these group, there are 7 debutants today, 5 of them that are still under 21. And even behind that group, Michael, there are still a lot of very promising players as well. So really today is something exceptional. You know, 7 new players coming into the team. You know, I suppose coming in at a time when the core fellas are not as strong as the core fellas used to be on the Clare team. So they're coming in.
But that gives an opportunity then to bring on the next generation.
It does, yeah. And as well as that, it's a great test. Like, you know, you'll see today, we don't want spectacular performances from them, but we want to see, are they the right material? Have they the gut for battle? I was going to use another word there, but I'll say, have they the real gut for battle today? And if they have that, and if they put up a really good performance today and show promise for the future and are able to cope with the pace of Waterford, then Clare supporters will be very happy. The
contrast is there then, of course, there with the Waterford team. Now, you know, Waterford have brought in, you know, some new players into the side as well, but you look around and you see a lot of the great servants of Waterford hurling still there. And what we're asking ourselves is there just one more championship in them?
Well, you look on Tony Brown there for a lot of years, you know, and now he's going to probably picking up one of the live wires. A regular now on the Clare team for last year is Jonathan Clancy. Very, very fast. He's been all over the pitch. Now Tony is a great player. Rick Welch centre back. Up front you have Owen Kelly.
From Clare and Waterford, Stephen Frampton, and they are with Joanne Cantwell.
From sunshine in Killarney to downpours in Thurles, but we're well used to it, especially Stephen and Tony are. Tony, obviously Waterford once again are favourites today, but you know that doesn't always matter. You were here a couple of years ago and you know what happened then.
Well, this is it, I suppose, when it comes to Munster Championship, and especially on a day like today, favouritism and who comes in as a hot favourite goes out the window, and it really, anything can happen. We saw that with Cork and Tipperary there last weekend. So I think it's going to be, at least I'm hoping it's going to be a very close game.
Now, obviously, when you left the Clare panel, there was a lot of problems going on there. How do you think that'll affect them today?
Well, I think the fact that there's 7 under-21s firstly shows that these guys, they're used to winning. They beat Kilkenny All-Ireland under-21 final. I think they'll go out there with absolutely no fear and just give it a real lash, and that's why you just don't know what's going to happen on a day like today.
Well, Stephen, you certainly don't have good memories as a Waterford man playing against Clare.
Absolutely, yeah. We lost in a replay on a quite a similar day today. The heavens open for the whole match. We should have beaten them probably the first day, but we lost our opportunity. But very untypical Munster Championship day today with the rain and a bit of a smaller crowd on a Monday as well, you know.
Davy sprung a few surprises with his team selection. How did that go down in Waterford?
I suppose there weren't a whole lot of surprises. I know there's a couple of new guys, but you know, he's been kind of sizing up a team for the whole way through the league. He's introduced an awful lot of new names. I suppose it was a bit worrying that there hasn't been a very settled look about the team, but a lot of experience back in there today. Dan Shanahan is making, I suppose, what we would call a comeback, and he's in great form, so it'll be interesting to see how he does against he'll probably start at full forward against the debutant for Clare at full back.
In a word from the two of you, I want to know who's going to win.
Just experience to Waterford, hopefully.
Tony, a shock?
Well, I'm going to say Clare, but I think, like Stephen, it'll be a shock perhaps.
If it is a shock or if it isn't, who knows? One thing's for sure is we won't get a suntan.
Don't think you will, Joanne. Time now for a short commercial.
Been up a little bit now in the last few minutes, but you know, a low-key enough build-up, small enough crowd here, but I think Davy Fitzgerald says the most nervous man down here. He looked white going out there, I think, playing against Clare for the first time as manager of Waterford. So I expect you know, a fair battle. They've come in under the radar. All the talk was about Cork and Tip. There's really very little talk about this semi-final, and you know, I think maybe Waterford have the more established players, Owen Kelly and John Milan, more established scoring forwards. I think they'll have a big impact on the game, and Colin Ryan's free taking will be vital. But you know, conditions are tough. It'll be the hunger of Clare against the more experienced Waterford team, but I expect Waterford to come out on top.
Okay, that's Michael's view. Len Glenor, of course, back in the early 90s, you were involved with a young Clare team coming through at that particular time. Now, as we know, this is a new team again for Clare. What's your view of them?
Well, sure, I suppose they're untried at the moment. This is their big challenge now today for the first time. 7 under-21s landing out in the Munster Championship for the first time. It's a little bit much, really, I suppose, to ask, but, you know, Gerald Loughlin is an astute manager. He's shown that with his club efforts, and he was a very smart player in his day as well. I had him under my wing in that period as well, but I'm sure he'll have him well tuned today and have him built up to play a very strong game. They're up against it with Waterford.
Clare. But today, they're on opposite sides of the fence. They've been talking to Joanne Cantwell.
Davey, is this a very emotional day for you?
Joanne, the emotion has to stay out of today. This is a game, and there's 70 minutes or 75 minutes of hurling to be played, so can't unfortunately come into who we're playing today. It's Waterford versus Clare, and that's it.
I'm sure the people at home may notice so that you are bouncing from side to side.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to any championship game, of course you are looking forward to it, you know, and certainly conditions are going to be tough out there today, so they are, the weather isn't great, but we don't really mind. We're looking forward to it no matter what the story is.
You made some, would you call it, brave decisions in your team selection?
In Waterford and any of the teams I'll be involved in, we'll always pick what the best 15 are, and I have a feeling we're going to need more than 15 today if we're to beat this strong Clare team, so we are. So the lads are informal play, and that's the way it goes all the time.
Well, Ger, it's a very wet way to open your championship campaign. How would that suit Clare?
Well, I suppose we prefer if it was dry. You know, we have some fast forwards and things like that. But you know, you have to take what you're given, and you know, it'll be the same for Waterford. So, you know, we're not that too put out about it. We're hoping for a real strong challenge. So, either way, we're going to attack the game.
Very young team. How do you think they'll handle the pressure today?
Hopefully well, you know, there's no pressure on us. We have tried to say that to the guys there over the last week, that you know, all the pressure is on Waterford. Nobody's expecting a whole lot from us, so we're going into it, you know, very not laid back, but we're certainly going into it with an open mind. But you know, it won't be from the one to trying. We're going to give it 150%.
I bet you are. And is it strange to be facing Davy like this?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But sure, look, at 5 o'clock we'll be shaking hands and best of pals again.
Okay, I have no doubt that they will. Time for another quick break.
Clare, Dan Shanahan going in full forward for Waterford. A little bit of jostling here and there. Maurice Shanahan's gone out onto the 40. Match is underway. It'll settle down in a moment. And straight off, Sean Collins. Blocked down brilliantly by Jamie Nagle. Getting into the thick of the action from the outset.
Yeah, Dan Shanahan gone in full forward. Morris, his brother, out at centre half forward, and Kevin Moran on the wing, and Stephen Malumphey is in the corner, but he's...
They had a great championship run in Clare, of course. Won the title 2 years ago. Great cut. Flying in there, but into the side netting. And the first wide of the match. In the end, it's something of a waste. Puck out. And Waterford go short. Out here to Noel Connors, who switched to right cornerback, picking up Colin Ryan, dropping it in there into the half-back line, asking for a response. It's out to Malumphey, and Malumphey strikes, and Malumphey puts it over the bar. Opening score of the match to Waterford, and their captain, Stephen Malumphey.
Yeah, great score there, Stephen Malumphey breaks onto it, and off his left side, lovely score, and settle him down.
So it's a half-forward line which reads Kevin Moran, Maurice Shanahan in the middle, and Malumphey over there on the left right now. Puck out for Clare for Donald Toohey, young man from Crusheen. Probably remembered for the Munster under-21 final of 08 when he stepped outside the small square taking a puck out, and Clare ended up losing the match in very dramatic circumstances to Tipperary. Tony Brown here now. Little hand pass back towards the brick. Not a good clearance, only as far as Pat Donlan. Whipped in, and he's put it right of the target again. And a second wide for Clare. Well, we were talking about the breeze here, Michael, just before the game. It's a swirling breeze. Looking at the little flags down near the side of the ground would seem to indicate that it's backing Clare for the first 35 minutes. But maybe that's something you might dispute.
I'm not sure. It seems to be swirling down there. It's very blustery, but going by the first score from Stephen Malumphey, he only stroked it over the bars.
Played in here towards Dan Shanahan, hand passing it back. Foley looking to set up another scoring opportunity. Once more Dan Shanahan mishit it, underhit it. Dole to his clearance. It's a good one away to the far wing. Conlon will be very much the man they will look to time and again on the 40. Comes back out towards Shane O'Sullivan. Blocked out there by Diarmuid McMahon. Helped by Brendan Bogler. Back once again by Brian O'Connell. Clare's captain up towards Conlon. Runs on in here towards Colin Ryan. And they struggle to make any kind of inroads on that half-back line. And it's Noel Connors who emerges with possession. Clever use of it. Richie Foley now stepping away from the challenge of Jonathan Clancy. Big one down towards Dan Shanahan. It reaches the man near him, John Mullane, instead. Mullane, such a star so often in the past, and what a score! Brilliant! A couple of attacks now, very useful attacks by Waterford, and they've made much the better start.
Yeah, it's a brilliant score from Mullane. You know, we've seen it so often over his left shoulder, and he's almost impossible to hook. You know, took plenty of steps all right to make the room for himself.
Well, he got his 100th point in Chap Donald to his puck out. Up as far as Sean Collins. Collins takes off. 2 men after him. Jamie Nagle gets it away. Beyond Malumphy, line ball to Clare. Clare need a score just to ease them into the match. Had a couple of wides, one of them from the line ball over there earlier on. And this time it's going to be Pat Vaughan who will take it for Gerald Loughlin's team, the man they call the Sparrow. A name he picked up when he was a schoolboy in Clare. Vaughan, another very good cut up this time. Over towards Fergal Lynch. Back in the championship team, goes by 3 men. In the end, back helping out is Jamie Nagle. Into the middle towards Richie Foley. Clare again. Once more it's Darragh Holan. And this time Darragh Holan dropped the hurley. Free against him. And the referee blew immediately. So a free out for Waterford. Good to see Tony Brown back in the championship action once again. Very popular Mount Sion player. Former hurler of the year, of course, as well. Clinton Hennessy taking this. Big one down towards Mullane. Made a good run across there. Pursued by Conor Cooney. 2008 final, of course. Well, Justin McCarthy's last match was in Limerick. Waterford against Clare, you might remember. This time it drops short, and Michael Brick Welch from Stradbally trying to get it away. In there is Darragh Holan, the big strong UCC student. Having a go, it's going to drop short in towards Fergal Lynch. Beyond the fullback as well, who's Liam Lawler. It's a big test for Liam Lawler this afternoon, isn't it? Because they've tried out various players. Mark O'Brien was being tried out during the league as well. But at least they're going for a new man, hoping that he will build a career for himself.
Well, that's it, Chad. They've been chopping and changing. You know, they really need to settle on somebody now and leave him there, you know, and give him a bit of experience. But again, you know, just a big lob of a ball in there from Darragh Holan. They need to be put much more direction on the ball into the inside line.
That's a great catch by Shane O'Sullivan. Huge catch down towards Dan Shanahan, trying to get his body between ball and the opponent who's coming from behind, Cian Dillon, out over the sideline, and it's going to be a line ball to Clare. And as you say, there's lots of enterprise and movement among the Waterford forwards, and that was a great catch by the midfielder from Ballygunner. Pat Donlan this time from O'Callaghan's Mills, now 24 years of age. Blustery afternoon, lots of rain here today. The streets, as they say in Irish, Plodaha with water. And this time it's an enterprising move involving Sean Collins. Collins striking, they need a point, he gets it. Good score. At last, a point for Clare coming in the 7th, 8th minute.
Yeah, lovely ball in there from John Conlon. First low ball we've seen, and Sean Collins looks to be very pacey out in that wing and shortened up the grip, and a lovely point.
Well, that's exactly what they required after 2 or 3 poor attempts. Short puck out again. They've done it once more, Waterford. Out to Noel Connors. They've been watching Cork against Tipperary, I think. Down at the other end, Malumphey didn't make any headway with that, and it's whipped away out of danger. Up into the centre here, cut out by Tony Brown, one-handed, challenged by Nicky O'Connell, picked up here, taken away by Jonathan Clancy. Let's fly, and he's put it over the bar. Great score. Jonathan Clancy, the Clare Castleman. And it's 2 points apiece. That's a bit more like it from Clare. That little bit of dash, suddenly evident. Great point. Now they're beginning to enjoy it a little bit more, Clare. Getting the last 2 scores. Collins adding to it. Picked up here. Once again by Richie Foley and Michael Welch. And back once more with John Conlon. And Conlon has a go, and Conlon's got a point. What a score!
That's great tackling there by the Waterford, or by the Clare forwards, and this John Conlon involved. That's the 3 half forwards have now scored, but this John Conlon was captain of the under-21 team last year. Very, very good player, and he's contributing hugely on Brick Walsh, who's normally so influential for Waterford.
This time a long puck out by Clinton Hennessy, and it's in the middle of the park, scrambled, won back eventually by Jonathan Clancy of Clare, on his hands and knees, has the presence of mind to pick out Pat Donnellan. Big one up, and there was some holding in there, and it's by the fullback Liam Lawler, who was holding Fergal Lynch. He can protest, but the referee Brian Gavin from Offaly up there immediately. It's a free in from the 20-metre line, and there's a chance for Clare to go 2 points in front. First scoring opportunity then presenting itself to Colin Ryan. And Colin Ryan, who scored 12 points in last year's Munster semi-final against Tipperary, that match in Limerick you might remember. Real tour de force on his part.
Looks like he might be going for this one.
Oh, he'll tap it over surely. Oh, he's going for it, you're right. I thought he would tap it over.
He should have tapped it over, you know, to start to play really well. It was a handy point at this stage of the game.
Comes to Owen Kelly. Haven't seen too much of him so far for Waterford. This time Pat Vaughan takes, controls, tries to get away from Malumphey. Not easy to do. Over the sideline. Maurice Shanahan was appealing for it, but it's got to be a Clare ball. They lose by a point. This time Jamie Nagle is hooked. Taken away here by Nicky O'Connell. Everybody appealing for it out over the sideline.
Certainty about them and commitment, and you know, at the moment they seem to have the legs on the Waterford players.
It's Nicky O'Connell again cutting it in towards Conlon. This time picked up by Owen Murphy. Murphy into the middle of the park to Kevin Moran. Yet to exert a big influence on this match. Down towards Milan. Runs on inside. Going across to cover was Conor Cooney. He fouls, and it's going to be a free in for Waterford. This is where they can draw level. Not a great deal in that.
No, there wasn't much in it. You know, he seemed to be going for the ball, and in these slippy conditions, you know, I suppose you'll give the benefit of the doubt to the forward there. But I think if he got inside there, he was in on the goal. So
slight use of the hand, maybe. That's about it. So John Mullane, who's scoring opportunity in this match. It's a tight enough angle for him. That's the sideline just beyond him. Oh, that's very well done. No problem whatsoever for the great man from Passage. And so the teams are level at 3 points apiece. Level for the second time.
Yeah, super free there. I think, you know, most free takers will tell you they like a nice handy one to start with, but that was a very difficult one to be for your first free today, and he straight between the posts.
Last time I can remember 6 debutants playing against Waterford in the championship was 1999. It was Cork, and they won the All-Ireland that year.
That's right.
Jimmy Barry Murphy in charge. Short puck out. You can be certain Waterford don't want to see history repeating itself. Cooney getting it away downfield. It's batted back out again by Richie Foley. Taken back by Diarmuid McMahon in the green helmet. Up towards Dara Holan, runs on towards Fergal Lynch, trying to make inroads. Holan's there as well. Picked up in the end by Sean Collins, trying to make space for himself. Blocked down by Jamie Nagle. Nagle does well. Way down towards Malumphey once again. Got to stick to it. Runs on kindly here. Didn't quite come up immediately for Owen Kelly. Pat Donlan gets there, blocks it, takes it away quickly. Well caught by Noel Connors. What a revelation he's been at left corner back or right corner back. Shane O'Sullivan, huge one, down through the centre. And runs on. They were waiting for a free, I think, Waterford. Nothing came. They may have heard a phantom whistle. They seemed to stop. Big leap in the air by Shane O'Sullivan. Didn't make it, however. He's after it once again. The man in the red helmet there. Pat Vaughan now. Over the head of Michael Brick-Walsh, got a stick to it, runs on in towards Colin Ryan. Ryan trying to make a better angle for himself, little block again on it. The blocking's been good. One-handed out. Shane O'Sullivan takes it. O'Sullivan again trying to get away, does well. Diagonally across over there, intended for Kevin Moran, couldn't reach it. Out instead by the man in the corner, Pat Donlan. Great pace in this attack here. Nicky O'Connell having a go and putting it over the bar. That's a super point by the midfielder, Nicky O'Connell.
Brilliant score. Pat Donlan's having a stormer of a game at left half back. Made a brilliant run out there, a simple hand pass in, and a brilliant score from Nicky O'Connell.
Well, there were concerns being expressed in Clare that they could be overrun in this match. Not so far, not on the evidence of the opening 16 minutes. Clinton Hennessy's puck out towards Kevin Moran. And again, the man you were talking about, Michael, Pat Donlan, got there. On to Jonathan Clancy, a point scorer already, kept it in play. Lynch was a little bit slow off the mark there. Liam Lawler has it, needs his goalkeeper. Hennessy, smartly away. Towards Shane O'Sullivan, batted down there by Brian O'Connell. On as far as Sean Collins. Collins raiding, Collins scoring. Goes off the stick of Clinton Hennessy, but a second for Sean Collins.
Yeah, he's caused a lot of trouble on that wing for Jamie Nagle. You know, Jamie would have played a lot of hurling around the middle of the field, but not that well known as a defender. And Aidan Kearney is on the bench, so it'll be interesting to see, you know, how long they leave Jamie Nagle there.
Jamie is struggling as a man marker. Hennessy's puck out. Kevin Moran adding to it. Donlan again now, leaving it behind him. And that time, Shane O'Sullivan stopped in his tracks. Free on the 65-metre. So this chance to put Waterford back within a point again. So 65 metres out. That one is gone right, and it's gone wide, but it's only Waterford's first wide of the match. A few problems to be ironed out by Davy Fitzgerald and his old friend the Sparrower, Gerald Loughlin, there alongside him. Puck out is towards Jonathan Clancy, runs beyond him. Played in there by Nicky O'Connell, and
you'd have to admire the energy about them and their pace to the game, and their half forward line in particular. Sean Collins has 2 points got, and John Conlon and Jonathan Clancy have a point each, and they're very pacey on the half line, and they have the Waterford half back line in all sorts of trouble.
Well, now Jamie Nagle, is he ready to puck this one out? Brian O'Connell touched it down, but only to the waiting Richie Foley, who was hooped. In quickly came John Conlon. He's playing a very alert game, doing well, and he wins a free. Bit of frustration there on the part of Stephen Malunphy, knocking down onto the stick of John Conlon. Referee right on the spot. So free to Clare, and a chance for them now to go double scores in front. Nicky O'Connell has got 1 point already in the match. This from right in the middle of the field. He catches it well. It's very well directed. It's a second for Nicky O'Connell, and Clare lead by 6 points to 3.
Yeah, John, just looking at the last 2 frees, you know, Owen Kelly's dropped wide and the wind seemed to catch it, so I would agree with you now that I said Clare are playing with the wind in the first half.
That's left again for Nicky O'Connell to take. Out as far as Sean Collins runs into the challenge of Jamie Nagle. Back here once more, it's Nicky O'Connell. The 2 O'Connells doing well at midfield, and Nicky underlines that with another super score. Well, he was the star, or one of the stars, of the under-21 team last year. Played at centre-back on that team. but shows himself very adept as a shooter, as a midfield player, as an all-round star. 7-3.
That's a brilliant score for a young player. You know, to have 2 points from play this early in the game, he's really settled very, very well.
A long way to go in the game. Only a quarter of the match played. Richie Foley lobbed in here. Good play by Cian Dillon. Steps away from trouble, was caught, free out. Remember, he's another rookie defender, Cian Dillon.
Yeah, brilliant out in front there. And all the Clare players, you have to say, are attacking the ball. You know, they really have sharpened up, and I think a lot of us were saying that, you know, a young team like that, maybe the league conditions didn't suit them that much, but they're really using their pace today and they're attacking every ball.
And they're 7-3 up after 20 minutes of play. Donald Tui's long range free runs into Dara Conan, and it's over the bar. Well, he'll be delighted to get a point here now, because he's one of those confidence players. Needs a score early on just to build his enthusiasm and build his self-belief. Ran on beautifully for him. Might even have had a goal.
Yeah, you know, I'd say he had a quick snapshot and went over the bar, but you're dead right. You know, he is a confidence player, but he can be very, very explosive on his day.
Seen that so many times at under 21 level. Now the big step up to the senior grade. Huge occasion for so many. This is just outside the 65-metre line. So I reckon he's a good 70 metres from the target because of the angle. Needs to be perfect. It is exactly that. Terrific score. Lovely composed play by Owen Kelly. Lovely strike. Beautiful rhythm. So 8 points to 4. Oh, 2 Waterford players went for the one ball. In the end, it's Michael Brick-Welch who takes it. Down towards John Milan. They started so prominently. Milan now forced backwards. Conor Cooney's lost his stick. Milan has the chance. There is an opening, but that's gone away to the left. Way off the target. Missed it by a fair old distance.
Yeah, he's normally very accurate, and they're struggling to get the ball into him, Jerry, around the middle of the field, and they're not getting much possession, and Clare are really dominating at the moment.
Well, you might remember the point he got earlier on in the game from a very, very tight angle. Tui's puck out. Well caught by Richie Foley. UCC Fitzgibbon Cup winner up towards Dan Shanahan, back in the championship team from the start. Nicely in here. Kelly was coming onto it, and Kelly puts it over the bar. 3 points for Owen Kelly, and it's now 8 points to 5, and it started here with this catch.
Great teamwork there, Dan Shanahan, you know, out in front, lovely hand pass and simple score, very well taken.
Well, Waterford have the bit between their teeth, that's for certain. But they're up against a very young, talented Clare team. Maybe a team for the future, but will it be a future which begins here? That's a trip there on Kevin Moran. It's a free to Waterford.
Yeah, and Clare want to watch it every freeze like that.
And Kelly wanted to take it quickly, seeing that Dan Shanahan was isolated one-on-one with Cian Dillon in front of goal. Good defensive work again. They work it out inevitably with Pat Donlan having a stormer. Beautifully inside here. Nicely forward there by Pat Vaughan. Cut out here. Again, it's Tony Brown. Once more taken out of defence here by Noel Connors. Not the best of clearances, only as far as Brian O'Connell, and that's gone to the right. Semi-final of the Munster Championship. That's beautifully taken by Shane O'Sullivan. Looking for space, getting it as far as Milan, who's drifted out the field. Nice ball in towards Dan Shanahan, ran away from him. Very good goalkeeping by Tui, and Donald Tui makes a fine clearance. Runs on towards John Conlon. Helped out here by Nicky O'Connell. Having a go for another one. It's going to drop to the right. Catching by Shane and by Richie Foley, his partner in midfield as well. Jonathan Clancy, and that's a super score. 2 for Clancy, another for Clare, and they're out in a 4-point lead again. That's brilliant. Showed poise, great direction, great technique. Clare back in the middle again, winning it. Sean Collins needs to offload it, needs a colleague. He's being pursued there by Michael Brick Welch. And Michael Welch tries to get it up, and the Brick does well. Into Milan, down he goes, free to Waterford. Clare cursing their luck. He's pumped up. Some contest.
Yeah, he's trying to get the rest of the players going. You know, they're a little bit lethargic around the field. There's very little in there. There's only 4 points in hurling. It's not, but they are a bit dead looking around the field. And John Milan is just saying to him, "Come on, lad, get stuck in here."
Well, there's no question Gerald Loughlin will be much that. 2 from frees, 1 from play. This time about 50 metres out. On a dank afternoon. He's put it wide. He's missed the opportunity. So it stays 9-5 against his team.
Yeah, the big difference really the 2 half-forward lines. You know, Sean Collins, John Conlon, Jonathan Clancy, 5 points in play between them. Yeah, Maurice Shanahan, Kevin Moran and Owen Kelly in the half line for Waterford. They've only got 1 point between them, and that's really the main difference at the moment.
Donald Tui's puck out. Again, he tries to pick out and does pick out Jonathan Clancy. They're looking for Colin Ryan. I haven't seen a great deal of Colin Ryan apart from that free from the 20-metre line where he attempted to get a goal and missed. Now it's Maurice Shanahan. This is promising. Shanahan over the bar. First of the match for Maurice Shanahan. So everybody in the full forward line starting out today scored, and it's now 9-6.
And he's gone in corner forward now to switch with John Milan, who's come out onto the wing.
Loads of excitement at Semple Stadium. Tui's puck out. Again, can Clare win this one? Not on this occasion. Over there is Richie Foley, the Abbey side man, pursued by 3 or 4 Clare players. A real battle, picked up beautifully by Brendan Bogler. Down he goes, free to Clare. He's pumped up, they all are. So a chance to put some more pressure on that Waterford goal. And they're bringing out Colin Ryan to take the free. Now this time I think Colin will have a go at putting it over the butt afternoon. So Colin Ryan, win behind him, bidding to stretch Clare's lead. He's hit it to the left and he's missed the opportunity, and he's still with a blank scoreline alongside his name. He's gone out to right half forward. Sean Collins has gone to top of the left. So it's Sean Collins top of the left, Darragh Honan top of the right, and in the middle Fergal Lynch at full forward. Nicky O'Connell challenging for this one, leaving it here for Diarmuid McMahon. Lobbed in there, should be the full-backs, needs support, gets it from Noel Connors. What a match he's playing. Into the middle towards Shane O'Sullivan. Little hand pass back to Connors. Chance to get it away and pick out a colleague. Trying to pick out Maurice Shanahan. Diarmuid McMahon went across. It breaks for Kevin Moran. Little hand pass inside to Milan. Lovely little flick, but he can't quite get it over the defender's head. It reaches Milan eventually, and Milan strikes and puts it over the bar. 2 for John Milan.
Yeah, and he looks very, very sharp again today. You know, great score, like right over his shoulder there. Wasn't even facing the goals, and you know, he's really a deadly finisher.
One of the best in the game. 9-7. So about 4 minutes to go to how things have developed during this first half. They've carried their fight to Waterford. Waterford will have the breeze behind them for the second 35 minutes as Owen Murphy tries to set up another attack involving Maurice Shanahan. They appeal for a free as Conor Clooney challenged him there. It's away by Pat Donnellan into the inside forward line. Standing firm there is Owen Murphy, the cornerback for Waterford. Picked up, however, eventually by Dara Conan. Dara Conan stolen away from them brilliantly by Liam Lawler, and that's going to be a line ball. Great piece of defending.
Yeah, great bit of defending. He might have maybe just controlled the ball there, and you know, he had plenty of time to clear it. He just poked it out over the line, but it was more Dara Conan lost control of it there going through. Just see here now, he could have stopped that ball and picked it and cleared it out the field.
Well, it's his first day playing in the championship, Liam Lawler and Dara Conan. So two newcomers. Line ball to Clare. Plenty of movement. It's Sean Collins is going to take it. Man from Cratloe. 2 points already this afternoon. Runs loose. And Holden has it again. Oh, what a goal! His first ever senior championship goal comes in the 33rd minute. And it is a beauty. A goal and a point for Dara Conan. That's what he was doing at under 21 level. This is where he tormented Galway in the semi-final last year at that grade. That's brilliant.
That's a great goal, John. That's what he can do. You know, I think he tried to do that earlier. He stuck it over the bar, and a great goal for him.
It's forward towards Honan again, but it breaks for Colin Ryan. This is a very good spell over the bar. A point for Colin Ryan at last. His third shot, the other two were from frees, and it's 110 to 7 points. This is a very, very healthy position for Clare to be in, approaching half-time. Now is a big surprise on at Semple Stadium. It's been a weekend of surprises in GAA. You never know. Waterford will have other ideas. A lot of class, a lot of experience in Waterford. Malunphy among them. On towards Kevin Moran. Little hand pass back here towards Owen Kelly. They need a score. Lobbing it in towards Dan Shanahan. Runs on. Tui takes it. Shanahan's appealing that Cian Dillon was holding him. Batted back out once again by Noel Connors. He's having a stormer. Picked up here brilliantly. Jonathan Clancy for Clare. Doesn't quite make it. But it's been,
you know, good traditional full-back play. But here's Hon again, a great finish straight into the roof of the net.
If there is a downside for Waterford so far, and for Clare rather, for Clare it's the number of wides. They've 8 wides against 3 for Waterford. And Waterford have a free. We're in the final couple of seconds of the first half. He will be thrilled. Face now. If he can put this one over the bar, it'll give Waterford a big boost. And he's got it absolutely perfectly. Ice cool, Owen Kelly.
They're huge scores, Jerry. You know, against that breeze there, from that distance, he's after scoring 3 very, very difficult frees, and it's really keeping Waterford in the game. And you know, they're within touching distance still.
There are shades of the Waterford versus Limerick match last year about this. Clare again, looking to try and get possession. Breaks back out towards Owen Kelly. Pursued by John Conlon. Line ball to Clare. Still another minute of injury time to be played. Nicely back. Oops. Referee says wait a while. Yeah, it wasn't in the correct position according to the new rules on the line. So it's going to be thrown in some 13 metres. You see he was about 6 or 7 inches in off the line. You have to have it on the line. In it comes towards John Conlon. They try to flick it away, but it reaches John Milan. Look how far back he is, and he was caught there with a challenge by Dara Conan, and Honan could go in the referee's notebook for that. Needs to be more disciplined, the big giant from Clonlara. Son of Cullum, who was a great championship player himself in the past. He's got a yellow card, and that's the first issued in the match. Probably the final piece of action in this first half now. A free to Waterford. As you can see, they are trailing by 5 points.
They're a little bit over-eager, you know, in the tackle. They're giving away a lot of frees, and you know, they're a long way out the field, but Owen Kelly is capable of scoring all of them.
Goes low this time, trying to work it into a scoring position. Maybe he felt the breeze was just too strong against him, and Kevin Moran hits it, and Kevin Moran puts it over the bar. His first point, and that's a great boost now to Waterford going in towards the break. They'll be only 4 behind. They haven't played well. Half-time whistle has gone.
There you go, then we'll give Ger a chance to get a cup of tea there, I think, at half-time back here in the studio. Ger, look, Nan, you were saying before the match that one of the things Clare would want to be doing and trying to do is keep the scores down. They kept the Waterford scores down. They've been scoring nicely themselves.
This is fantastic stuff on Clare. You know, totally unexpected that they played that well. You know, our most optimistic projections were that they wouldn't play up to this level. Now, I must say, I must give great credit to Sparrow. His tactics are absolutely spot on. Half-forward line coming out into midfield, midfielders helping the half-back line, totally dominating what's known as the middle third of the field.
Yep.
Pat Donlan outstanding there. Damon McMahon, who came in for a lot of criticism in Clare, playing really well at centre-back. Nicky O'Connell outstanding. And when they get the ball, then they're either running at the Waterford half-back line and have got frees or have got scores. All the half-forward line have scored. Now, they want to be careful, giving away very easy frees, you know, and handing a free to Owen Kelly is saying, here's a point for you. Yeah. Very careful in that. And the ball they're delivering to the full forward has been a bit too high so far. You see there when Honan gets the ball in front of him, he's absolutely lethal. So a lot of positives, but a few things the Sparrow will be saying at half-time, right lads, let's fix these and we have a great chance of winning this game.
They have, of course. We have a commercial break coming up right now here.
Young team, got some great scores from outfield. Now they put a lot wide and they've done great things and kind of some stupid things. But they'll be happy enough at half-time, but after saying that they're 4 up, Waterford will be wondering how they're not a lot more down because we're outplayed in most positions. Some of the forwards hardly got a puck of the ball, yet they're hanging in through frees. But like Clare are taking the game to them. Now the breeze, it's hard enough here in the studio to do how strong the breeze is. There's probably a fair bit in it. But like of the two managers, like Gerald Loughnane will be happy and Davy, I'd say, will be roaring and shouting. Like we're trying to get them going in dressing because they haven't really got into the game at all.
Yeah, he will, but Donal O'Grady, the danger for Clare is, as Cyril said, Waterford haven't really played in that first half, and yet they're within touching distance.
They are, Michael, and it's been alluded to, you know, Clare committed silly frees that brought Waterford back into it, but I think the pace of Clare's tackling, you know, they're focused on the ball. Waterford, if you look at them, they're a slight bit flat, maybe a bit like Cork and Tip last week, right? Waterford expect, look, we'll win it anyway, right? And that's the worst mental attitude to take into a game. And, you know, Clare put them under fierce pressure, and Waterford are struggling to get scores in play.
Yeah, but having said that, Cyril Farrell, Waterford did start nice and settled. Clare were a bit nervous, obviously, as they would be, I suppose. A lot of young lads that first 5 or 10 minutes. Then they settled down. They started picking off some lovely points.
Got great scores from out the field, and again, they used their pace. Johnny Clancy, Shawnee Collins, Nicky O'Connell. These guys are explosive kind of players. Beautiful scores coming up here. Now, it's good to see anywhere. Lovely ball here. Now, John Collins doesn't hit a long ball. Look at the lovely little pass inside. Beautiful flick on here, on the run. Over the, like, you know, this is Shawnee Collins. This guy will go run all day, pop over the bar. Now that's a great score, great pass, great move. Again, you're going to see here again. Again, another great, it could have been cleared. Little flick across here, the ball breaks back here. Now Johnny Clancy, he'd run all day, again up on the left, has a little look and pops it over the bar. There's nothing the Waterford defence can do about it because they're out 35, 40 yards. And there's another one coming up here. This guy, Nicky O'Connell, could play wing back, centre back, midfield. He's got a beautiful score here. He's on his game today, not afraid to have a go. He's confident, and like that kind of, it draws the crowd in Clare at this stage. At that stage, they were kind of going from strength to strength.
Nick got 2 points in that first half. Jonathan Clancy there, and that was actually the half forward, all the half forward line for Clare getting their scores in there, and then Ger, they get the boost, they get the goal.
Yeah, you see, at this stage, Waterford had cut back to, I think, 2 points, you know, and we're coming back mainly through frees and all that. But then this man, this phenomenal Dara Conan, he strikes, you know, a scramble for the ball. He wins, he comes off his man, wins the ball, and he just buries it in the back of the net. Now, you could argue here that the goalie is a bit unsighted. You watch him, he doesn't move. Noel Connors is in front of him, he doesn't move. But Dara Conan can do this. He did this at Dundee One last year. Whenever he gets the ball, he has such a cool head. He's very cool. He just reminds me of John Fitzgibbon, who used to play for Cork. He'd be out of the game for ages. And next thing, he'd appear up and he'd score this crucial goal. And he'd put the ball in, not at a huge pace, but he'd put it in the place where the goalie couldn't get it. He has been doing this. He did this all last year, under 21. And, you know, he's injured, he's not playing, and people are worried about him and all that. That's the kind of guy
always injured.
He is. That's the type of guy he is. But he comes out in a big match, and especially against Waterford, because he has something against Waterford, he can always produce the goods against Waterford. So if they can get enough ball to him today, he could actually do damage, but he will be difficult in the second half.
A big turning point there was in a bit of an experience. Liam Lawler gone to that ball. He could have gone down with the Waterford full back. He clipped it out over the sideline. You can't be doing things, giving away little kind of a simple line ball. Ball comes in and Honan sticks in the net.
Up the other side of the field, Donal O'Grady, you've been looking at Waterford and a bit concerned, I think, how far out the field they're coming, the forwards are.
Yeah, well, they're an experienced team, Michael, and they have Dan Shannon in full forward, who'll be a tag man. So you'll be hoping as a manager to say, look, stay inside. But this is just an example we picked out of play here where John Milan has to come into the ball. There's the whole space inside now, not being occupied by one. No Waterford player inside there, right? So when Milan does get now, he stops here. Look, the space still hasn't been occupied, and Waterford don't get in fast enough. I know left half forward now makes an attempt in point for no option left from Milan, has to hit it, trails wide. And anybody who's coaching a team would want your forwards, the people who were initially in the ruck with John Milan, to burst in there, and people from the left burst in, and then at least they're giving him an option. If he wants to take a point after it, fair enough, but they didn't threaten one goal chance, right? Okay, he had absolutely nothing to do except puck out the ball in Clare.
That's very true, Donald. And even failing that you leave the full forward inside the edge of the square, like Isaki did last Sunday. Like, he'd never left the edge of the square. If Dan Shannon was there himself, he had some target to go to. But now there was no one breaking through, and there was nobody inside, so he had no choice.
Well, at some stages there's nobody going to be inside, but at that situation, Milan could have gone himself if he had a bit of support inside. He looked, nobody there. Ball harmlessly wide. You'd say that if you were full-back, cornerback, say, brilliant stuff, puck out 90 yards and we're on the attack.
One thing that Clare would need reminding of, we remember Cyril Farrell last year down in Semple Stadium, Waterford were losing all day long to Galway and won the match in the end.
Yeah, and Big Dan he's been very quiet. He hasn't got a touch. To be fair to Keane Dillon, Conor Cooney and Paddy Vahan, they're playing great stuff. But he's dangerous at the same time, because one ball will do him. Now, he's been dragged out the field, and I know the boys are making the point they're dragging out, but there is a fair strong breeze there, and when the ball isn't coming in, you're inclined to be dragged out. The only points that Waterford got is when they hit it in long and the Clare backs are fouling. They got simple frees enough and they're staying in the game. They'd still have to be aware of Big Dan. I know David probably has his hair put out this stage because Dan isn't doing anything, but if the ball keeps going in there, there's a fair chance he'll stick in the back of the net.
All right, lads, we have another break to take. The second half of Waterford versus Clare in just a few minutes. Cyril Farrell was saying in that little chat before the break, Donald, that Davy Fitz will be tearing his hair out. He'll also have the notebook out and going through the way that the Waterford team is structured and maybe changing that for the second half, you think?
Well, I can't understand why the Waterford team up front has been changed. Really, Morris Shannon started on the 40. He's more played in the corner forward or wing forward. I mean, he's a light player. He's tall, but he's a bit light. You know, why they changed around their formation, Malumphey to me, left half forward, give him a free roll, come back around the midfield. Right, they didn't function as a forward line. The half forward line completely misfired. Whereas on the other side of things, like Clare's half forward line played out very, very deep in the midfield, put Waterford under all sorts of pressure, and Darragh Conan made a great tackle a few times out on his side, out in midfield, and Clare won the ball and then they're going through. So I think that there'll be a lot of food for thought for Davy Fitzgerald. Gerald Loughlin has got his tactics right. How they'll work against the breeze now will be, you know, another thing to look at, but certainly you'd say like that it's advantage Clare at this stage in the tactical game.
One thing, Cyril Farrell, that you can never legislate for when you set up tactics and set up a team structure is a midfielder getting the ball and pucking over two fantastic points, as Nick O'Connell did for Clare in that first half.
Yeah, and Davy would know him well because he's playing with Limerick IT. He's a very good player and he's capable of doing this the whole time. He's confident enough to do it, but like the second half will be completely different. This guy, the wing back, centre back, and it's like, and he's travelled all day. Like, and today could be his day because he's kind of on song, not a bit afraid to go for it. And Clare put a few of these wide, but that's a great score. It's an inspirational score to the crowd that are there from there. And again, from out here again, like, you know, he's going to get on here again. They're driving through tackles at this stage now. This is a great score as well. Like, they're on a run at this stage, and yet at half time, Michael, they're only 4 up. It's you'd feel here in the studio that there should be 9 or 10 up, but they're only 4 in it.
And to Gerald, Michael.
It certainly should be fascinating. So just that one change. And now remember, it's Waterford who have the advantage of the breeze for the second 35 minutes. A place in this year's Munster Hurling final at stake. And Waterford straight away getting into their first attack with Michael Brick-Walsh sending it forward, but it's stopped here by the other number 6, Diarmuid McMahon. Pursued there by Jonathan, by Stephen Malumphey. Malumphey getting it forward here, and it's taken with some bit of difficulty by Kevin Moran. Has a go, puts it over the bar. The perfect start. Great point for Waterford by Kevin Moran.
Yeah,
so,
Kevin Moran, you know, plays centre back, wing back for his club, and he had a great league, a couple of great matches during the league at centre forward, and he's after scoring 2 great points on either side of half time.
He's become a very, very much more influential player, the De La Salle man. Saw him play some great league matches during the spring. But now it's all about in the championship. What a catch by John Conlon. Tried to hand pass it forward for Sean Collins. Came off a Waterford player, and Michael Brick-Walsh has it again. Here's Malumphey. Setting off, looking for another score, and they could wipe out Clare's lead very quickly. Waterford get another. What was a 4 points advantage is now down to 2. 110-11. What about that for a catch by John Conlon? Nothing came of it, however, as Waterford won back the very next pass. Donald Tui's puck out. Looking for Jonathan Clancy, getting only Shane O'Sullivan instead. Maurice Shanahan, only 20 years of age, remember. That was Tony Brown sending it forward. Picked up here by the cornerback Conor Cooney, who was captain of the 08 Clare under-21 team. Nicely picked up here by the goal scorer Darragh Conan. Well, he's got a goal and a point, and he's now got a great reply for Clare, just to keep them moving again. Goal and 2 for Darragh Conan.
That's a great score, Jerry, into the wind. You know, very difficult ball to win, and didn't even have a look up, straight over the bar.
So a goal between the teams again. Well, it was very important from Clare's point of view to get their first score of the second half so quickly. They expected Waterford to come out, I'm certain, with all guns blazing, as they say. And that's kicked down by Pat Donlan. Not too far. Tony Brown returns it inside towards Malumphey. Dan Shanahan trying to get this one. Cian Dillon's after him. Shanahan trying to get a better placed colleague. It's his brother, Maurice Shanahan, raiding, hooped well. Good defensive play. That's brilliantly done. It's going to be a line ball. Great play by 24-year-old Ballygunner player. Lovely cut up, but it's too far. And it's misdirected, and it's a missed opportunity. So it stays 111 to 11 points. Just 3 minutes now into the second half. Well, he will be, I think, a little more pleased with they're looking for encouragement. So far, the signs have been very encouraging. That's again John Conlon. Real name for the future, John Conlon. Owen Kelly we know all about, but how far he had to go back to get that. Lovely ball into the hands there of John Milan. Lets it off and lets it wide. Well, he's foraging as ever. He's always prepared to go out there, take a chance. Brilliant ball into his hands by Owen Kelly. Nothing coming of it, however. So 2 points out of 4 attacks for Waterford at the start of the second half.
Yeah, Jordan, you can see, you know, just John Milan and Dan Shannon inside the 50-yard line, really leaving them isolated inside, hoping to get a break and get a goal in there.
And again, a short puck out, but this time it's by Clare, and Conor Cooney takes it, hitting it into the wind now, remember. A lot of mist and rain around still in Semple Stadium. And once more, it's Fergal Lynch, hasn't scored so far. Trying to set something up here. That was back to Nicky O'Connell. He hadn't very much chance of getting it initially. Lynch goes back, makes amends, does well. Trying to place John Conlon. There's still an opportunity here. In the end, Colin Ryan had a go. Stopped by Clinton Hennessy. Loose clearance, however. Straight to Brendan Bugler. Big, huge one down towards Darragh Conan. What a catch. Almost lost his stick, got back, gets away from Murphy. Honan. Oh, he was trying to pick out somebody on the far side, but he's only picked out Tony Brown. There were 2 Clare players there. Brown, the only Waterford man, gets it. Helped out by Shane O'Sullivan. Great clearance. Out comes Cian Dillon. He's playing a stormer. Great clearance. Superb. Clancy tries to keep it in play. Again, John Milan in the thick of the action here, but he's denied possession by Conor Cooney. Cooney looks up, sees where Diarmuid McMahon is, picks him out well. Very astute pass. Now into the forwards. Tony Brown trying to cut out the supply lines. Does well, takes the shoulder there from Kevin Moore, one of the Clare forwards. Up it goes to Dan Shanahan. Little release back towards Maurice Shanahan, and the 20-year-old belts it over the bar.
And that's a great score, Jared. Tony Brown is having a stormer of the second half. He's won 4 or 5 balls over there. Came out there, great shoulder, and great play by Dan Shanahan, great catch. And Dan has done that a few times now, laying off, very good ball there.
So once again, it's a 2-point game. That was...
Well, he left the ground there, actually.
He did.
Should be free
against John Conlon. Tui's puck out. This time picked up by Owen Kelly in between 2 Clare players. Released it well as far as Prendergast. That's Declan Prendergast, and Declan puts it over the bar. great point by Declan Prendergast. It's what you might have expected his brother Seamus to be doing, but Seamus is on the bench this afternoon.
Yeah, great teamwork there again. Owen Kelly, little simple hand pass, and Waterford are doing that very well now, throwing the ball around very well.
In points, it's 14-13, and the Waterford fans a little bit more encouraged. Batted back this time by Malumphey, looking for Milan. It reaches Owen Kelly. Kelly striking it, doesn't quite have the accuracy, but Tui's puck out. Clare need to win this one, but it's Waterford who get it, and it's the great-hearted Brick who gets in to challenge. Does enough to get it as far as Owen Kelly, in towards side towards Shanahan. Oh, he got a flick to it. He might finish yet. Dillon's after him, and Dan Shanahan fires it wide. A lot of pressure on that Clare goal. A lot of intent in Waterford's play, but it stays 114 to 13 points, and that's 7 wides now for Waterford. This, the latest.
Yeah, good defending there by Cian Dillon. He stayed goal side of his man here, didn't panic. See him just standing off there, and he made sure he kept him outside him, and Dan a bit unlucky.
Backs to the wall at this stage for Clare. Now, can they break through the Waterford half-back line, which wasn't really functioning as you'd expect in the opening 35 minutes? Well, this time Shane O'Sullivan's back, up as far as John Milan. Gets away from the challenge, hits it, puts it over the bar, and that's the equaliser. The teams are level for the third time.
That's a brilliant score, brilliant first touch from the sideline off his right side over the bar.
Well, Clare have had the lead for a long, long time in this match now, and what's that going to do to their confidence? Paradoxically, what will it do to Waterford?
Yeah, Jared, you mentioned the half-back line there, Waterford. That's really the difference since half-time. Tony Brown and Brick Walsh and Declan Prendergast, the three of them really dominating the game now, and they weren't in it much in the first half.
Number 19, Cormac O'Donovan, is going in place of Colin Ryan. I wonder whether we will see, he's a championship newcomer as well, of course. Wonder if we'll see his twin Donal at some stage. Back to Diarmuid McMahon. Up towards Dara Conan, bounces off his hand. Missed there by the fullback Liam Lawler. In came Lynch immediately, the big number 13, looking to release it outside to Jonathan Clancy, and Clancy fires it over the bar. Great point, great response, great play, super match. Well, what a bumper weekend of GAA sport it's been on RTE. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, thrills aplenty, and Jonathan Clancy puts Clare back in front. Pressure once again now on the Clare goal. Pat Vaughan dealing with that. Out as far as Cormac O'Donovan. First touch. Slack ball in as far as Brick Welch. Out to Declan Prendergast. Well aware that he might be challenged and hooked by Sean Collins. Is he running after him, trying to get there? Prendergast has got 1 point already. He's got another. Well, he's played everywhere. He's a kind of a fireman in defence for Waterford. Played at full-back, never looked terribly happy there. But now, as an adventurous wing-back, he's got up and got 2 points in the second half in the space of 11 minutes.
Yeah, great substitution. He's playing really well, and Gerard Lucknan mentioned at half-time his performance against Galway last year when he went out wing-back. He had a brilliant last 20-25 minutes, and you know, you'd wonder in that sort of form why he wasn't up to start.
Well, those decisions work sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Teams are level again. Tony Brown. Smart play by Tony Brown. Inside towards Dan Shanahan. It's running on. It's Milan coming towards it. Goalkeeper comes out. Brilliant play. And Donald Tui does really, really smartly. Gets out there. Aware now that he might be blocked in. Oh, only as far as Dan Shanahan. The keeper's out. The fullback's gone into goal for a moment. Keeper's back. Bugler has it. Real excitement. Up towards John Conlon. Getting there first was Michael Brick Welch. Breaks out here towards Declan Prendergast. Inside into the centre. Doesn't reach Kevin Moran this time. It reaches Richie Foley, however. Terrific play. Up towards Malumphey. All alone. Unchallenged. Has a go. And he puts it over the bar. He's got 3. Another point for Waterford. And they're leading by 16 points to 1 goal and 12. That's 16-15. And it's another for the captain. This was the save earlier on by Donald too. He came out, did really well, resourcefully got out there after it.
Yeah, it's a great contest, Jerry. There wasn't much talk about this match, you know, really overshadowed by the Cork Tip match last week, but fantastic match and everybody giving it everything.
It's a Munster semi-final. It's exactly what you expect. And you hear all those people who are saying it's time to get rid of the Munster semi-final and final and all the rest of it. Absolute rubbish. It's brilliant stuff. Kevin Moran, as I say it, misses an opportunity. But it's a genuine contest. Points so far. That drops down and it's won back again here by Brian O'Connell. Little block on it there by Owen Kelly. Picked up by Noel Connors, one of the many stars in the game. Wouldn't like to be picking man of the match in this one, I can tell you. So many good performances. Maurice Shanahan in the thick of the action in the yellow helmet for Waterford. Bounces back once again towards Pat Donlan. In the end, it's Nicky O'Connell who takes over.